about Marcus? Tell me what you think about Christ. Made their sacrifice now. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation, all our but foundation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Oh, love. So many can testify.
Pleasant good morning to everybody, and welcome to another featured program of Policing with You. I have in the studio today with me two of St. Kitts' finest detectives. I will allow them to introduce themselves in a bit. However, security should be priority all year round. But we know that this time of the year, people should have a heightened sense of security. Because of that, we are joined by these two detectives from the CAD to tell us about some of the things we need to look out for and areas in which we have been getting results. We have realized that this program helps us get the word out, and we want to thank the listeners and viewers who continue to assist the police. So I'm now going to turn over to the detectives to introduce themselves. Sir?
My name is Detective Sergeant Valon Hodge. I'm second in charge at the Criminal Investigation Department, Bastia.
Yes, ma'am?
I am Detective Corporal Andrea Batiste. I am stationed at the CID, Bastia.
Okay, and you're third in charge.
Third in charge, yes.
Okay, detectives, I want to thank you very much for joining me today on the program. And today we're going to be talking about different segments, different things, because we know that there's upcoming festive season, Christmas, and it's around this time that the police see a slight uptick in certain offenses. However, we're going to be sharing with the general public several different things today. I want to thank you for joining me. Now we're going to jump straight into the question and answer segment. So firstly, to you, Sergeant Hodge, can you give us an overview of the department and its responsibilities?
Well, basically, our department, the Criminal Investigation Department, we are a very important part, should I say, wing of the police force. We investigate crimes, some major serious crimes in the Bastia area.
Yes? Okay, so your main responsibility is to investigate serious crimes.
Serious crimes, yes.
In the Bastia area.
Yeah, some of these crimes would include the breaking offenses, larceny offenses, robberies, frauds.
Wow.
You know, just to name a few.
Those are a lot of things. Okay, fine. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. The holiday season brings with it some issues we need to be mindful of. The holiday season that is about to come upon us. I know last year Christmas was kind of different, and this year Christmas is going to be with a slightly little more activity than last year. So can you tell us about any offenses that stand out to you right now that people should be aware of? Any particular offenses that people should be aware of?
Well, persons should be aware of offenses like burglary, house breaking, larcenies, petty larcenies, larceny from attended vehicles. Now, those offenses would normally increase around this time, where persons take the opportunity to commit offenses I guess it's for during the festive seasons. They need money to go out and do other things. And these are some of the offences. There are also some fraud offences that you need to be aware of in terms of your credit card and so on.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you mentioned some fraud offences and credit card. Okay, Detective Corporal, can you elaborate and give us some examples?
We have examples of basically we have embezzlement.
Embezzlement. Could
Embezzlement.
you break down that for us? That's all like a big word.
Embezzlement are offenses that mostly happens with persons like cashiers, persons who are employed as clerks or servants, and they take the opportunity to maybe when they are cashing, they either put it in the cash pan, or when they have a downtime, they go back in the cash pan and take monies. And we have offenses as burglaries. Some persons may basically kind of get a little complacent, and persons take the opportunity to burglarize the house. Maybe they go to sleep, they forget a door open, persons looking, they burglarize the home. We have house break-ins, we have robberies. Persons, we encourage persons in the supermarkets to basically tighten on the security, because persons take the opportunity around this time. Persons want a little extra monies to do a little extra shopping, and they try and they do a lot of robberies. If they look at the time when it is more, the persons are more laid back and they commit these offenses.
Okay, thank you very much. So the listening public need to be aware, especially the business community,
Yes.
that in light of the festive season coming around, they need to pay attention to burglaries, robberies, embezzlement. In other words, they need to harden their targets, harden their businesses, harden your homes, to prevent yourself from becoming a victim of this situation. Mm-hmm. Okay, how serious are these offenses under the law? Can you help us?
Okay, these offenses are serious offenses. If you are being convicted of an offense such as embezzlement, mm-hmm. you go to prison. The penalty is a term not exceeding 7 years in prison.
Wow.
So you could get ranging from 1 to 7, mm-hmm. not exceeding 7 years. Burglary, if you're found guilty, you go to prison for a term not exceeding 20 years.
Wow.
House breaking, not exceeding 10 years, and robberies not exceeding 7 years. Fraud offenses, a term not exceeding 5 years. So these are really heavy penalties.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're talking about incarceration, taking away of your liberty, and is important. So in other words, business persons out there need to make sure that the persons that are working for them are doing their due diligence. Mm-hmm. It is important, especially around this time, to make sure that the cameras are working, because cameras play a very vital role in assisting the investigators, the detectives such as yourself.
Yes.
I know of 1 or 2 cases in the past that a report was made to the police, and when we rewind the camera, then is when we realized who the person was.
Yes.
We realized, it was the cashier putting the little money in his pocket or his pocket, and mm-hmm. then it helps to tie in the case even more. So we want to encourage the general public. Go ahead.
And that will be able to, the cameras help too, because they are embezzlement. You have embezzlement and you have larceny by clerk or servant, and mm-hmm. You have a little fine ingredient there. You have larceny by servant. If a cashier comes, if a cashier cash someone, and the person give them $150, but they take the $150 and they put it in the cash pan, and when they have a downtime, they take it out of the cash pan. Then that is embezzlement, mm-hmm. because they basically went back when the money was already in the possession of the owner. Mm-hmm. You take it, but if somebody give you the money and you didn't even put it in the cash ban, you just take it and slip it in your pocket, then that's an offense of larceny by servant, clerk or servant.
So the camera help us to
clarify the little pointers there.
Okay, but either way, it's an offense.
Yes.
And punishable by incarceration.
Yes.
So you want to bear in mind that the business places need to harden their targets. Individual citizens out there need to harden their targets as well.
And
yes,
not only that, we have to be mindful of credit card frauds. We are seeing a lot of that showing its head lately. So persons need to be very, very mindful of that.
Can you give us an example? Credit card fraud.
Like for instance, you might go to a store, you purchase something with a credit card. The person doing the transaction take your credit card information, and what we are seeing a lot of in St. Kitts, person take your credit card information and order the service 869 to go. They use that service. They use
that and other services.
Yes. So we got to be mindful of our card information and be very careful, because persons take this opportunity. Crime is like opportunity. Some persons, they only commit crime when there's an opportunity, and once the opportunity presented itself, they will go out and commit that crime. So be very aware of those things. And this is the festive season, this is the holiday season, and a lot of persons out there just waiting for an opportunity.
Don't leave your card lying around. People take pictures of them and they make use of them, basically.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you very much for those nice input and guidance. Okay, we're going to take one more question before we take a break for a word from our sponsors, and then come back and we hear from the other side any questions.
Yes.
Okay? So I want the listeners to bear in mind that we will break for halftime and come back, and we'll be entertaining questions, comments from the listening audience. Now, the police have been planning its operation to address a lot of issues that we would normally have to deal with around this time. And we have seen results in some areas. I know that the CAD, Criminal Investigation Department, can speak to some of these results. So, tell our listeners about that. Can you enlighten us?
Well, the Criminal Investigation Department has, over the past few months, engaged ourselves in some robust search operations, and we were able to end a ring of breaking offences in the Stapleton area and also in the Frigate Bay area with the assistance of those stations. And if it wasn't for that and the intelligence that we gathered, intelligence-led policing, basically, we would not have been able to solve those crimes, because if we didn't have those technologies before us, then it would have been very hard to solve those crimes. But we went out and we did our jobs, and we were able to also involve ourselves in some community policing, and that was also a great help. Reaching the citizens in the different areas in the Basti area, and it was really a great help for us. So those were some of our operations that we did, and the results were very, very successful, and persons were placed behind bars.
Okay, Detective Carval, I see you shaking your head. You want to add? Okay, to add anything?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Okay, what I would like to add is that I want to thank you guys. I'm glad that you indicate that you guys went and did some robust searches and different things, and you went out of your way to assist different outstations. And this is true policing. We help out our brother. We are our brother's keeper. So we extend our expertise, knowledge and experience, and assisted the Frigate Bay police station and assisted the Stapleton police station along with the manpower from there. So we join the efforts of the outstation and the experience from the detectives here, and I'm glad to hear that we were able to successfully break up a ring of break-ins, dismantle a ring of break-ins in those areas. I want to encourage you guys in that way. GQ, I don't know if you want us to break. Can we take a break for a word from our sponsors, please? And when we come back, we entertain some calls.
COVID-19 guidelines for restaurants and bars. The St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce would like to remind persons when patronizing restaurants and bars to abide by the following COVID-19 guidelines to protect employees, customers, and our community. Require that employees wear a face mask in the presence of staff and customers. Remember to wear your face mask from the time you enter the establishment until you are seated. Upon entry, always sanitize your hands. Your host or hostess will have to check your temperature with a non-contact forehead thermometer. Once seated at your table or bar, you may then remove your face mask. Employees are encouraged to frequently wash their hands with soap and water, especially before and after preparing food, after using the bathroom, and after handling garbage. Clean and disinfect high-touched surfaces such as telephones, cash registers, bathrooms, tables, chairs, and countertops regularly throughout the day, especially after a customer has left. Consider installing barriers such as sneeze guards or partitions to limit contact with your customers. Limit large customer gatherings by offering delivery services and takeout options where possible. For more information, visit www.sknchamber.com and covid19.gov.kn.
Experience the value. Get the cable's value bundle today. Internet, Ultra TV, free HBO Max, and a free Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard for only $157 monthly. Feel the thrill of 74 channels of Ultra TV. Feel the rush of the cable's 35 megabyte Bolt Internet. Maximum streaming entertainment is free with HBO Max and the ultra convenience of the Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Shop, save, share, and don't forget, get a free internet upgrade when you pay your cable bills with Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Not a cable customer? Sign up today and get more out of your internet, TV, shopping, and payment experience. The cable's value bundle, Ultra TV, internet, free HBO Max, and Platinum Loyalty MasterCard at $250 value for only $157 per month. Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
Makeup artists, grab your brushes and palettes. The SKN Carnival is looking for you because it's face time! From November 8th to November 22nd, 2021, you can post your original looks on Facebook and Instagram in any category for a chance to win $1,000 and $540 EC voucher for makeup supply. Visit our website, www.skncarnival.com for all details on how you can bring the fun, vibe, and energy for the Sugar Mass 50 FaceTime Makeup Artist Challenge. Rules and regulations apply. This is a virtual experience.
Welcome to Bastia Art Gallery and Restaurant, located at North Independence Square Street in the heart of Old Bastia. We are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The fresh food and friendly faces will make you feel like a star that you deserve to be. Our chef, with over 20 years of experience in fine dining European restaurants, will surprise you with the best of culinary delights from old Europe. And our multi-talented local chef will treat you with the classics of St. Kitts and the Caribbean. Special prices for groups are available. Come and enjoy the best of Kittitian and European cuisine in one place. For your reservation, call us at 661-6877. Rain or shine, it's time to dine.
Okay, welcome back to a feature program of Policing with You. We're getting feedback. Okay, I want to welcome back to a feature program of Policing with You. Having the studio Detective Sergeant Hodge and Detective Corporal Batiste. Now, we're going to entertain any calls, GQ? Any calls? Yes, President, good morning. You're on the air. Can I help?
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Officer. I got a little concern. You leave your place, go work, right? And come back. You see somebody come on your place with mask down with a TV or something in your hand. what you're supposed to do, consult with that. Because when you ask this question, I asked a policeman about it. He said, me must call the station. But if I ban mask down and everything, he can't see face, but he got many codes in the hand. One must do consult that. So listen after you what you just got to say about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a relatively good question. I want to thank the caller for that call. I would take an opportunity to answer that question. What I would like to say is that everybody is entitled to protect their loved ones and their property. Now, if for some reason you see somebody coming out of your house with a mask, I would always encourage you to reach out to the general to the police to see how you can try to get some assistance. I would not encourage persons to engage anyone. I would not encourage anybody to engage anyone, because we do not know what that individual have, if they would have a weapon, a gun, or anything of that sort. So it is important not to put yourself in any danger, but it is also equally important to take good observation as to who the person might be, how the person dressed, what they're wearing, the direction they went. And 911 is always available. The police is always out there on patrol. So it's important to make a phone call, explain what the situation is, and the police will be able to dispatch individuals to assist you as soon as possible. However, individuals have the legal right to protect themselves and their property. If anybody is coming to harm you physically, or any loved ones that is in your view, you have the right to try your best to protect them physically. However, if you're not in any imminent danger, I would encourage you to reach out to the police, call 911, so the police could respond one time and see how they can render some assistance to you as soon as possible. Any more calls? Yes, Pleasant, good morning, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, Pleasant, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, my superior of ranks.
Pleasant, good morning, sir.
One lady and two gentlemen, and Superintendent of CID, Mr. GQ.
GQ right there, smiling.
I have to commend GQ and you all, because since you all are under the supervision of GQ, every one of you step up to the top shelf. So you all are doing good. This is PWOP, Police Without Pay.
Yes, sir.
I'm working with police. Now, I have two questions, simple. First one, what is the penalty for somebody who is assigned to a job and they are not doing the duty, but every payday they go to the shop and they sign whatever they have to sign and they collect the check and they go on? And the other question is this.
Before you go on, which job you're talking about? Because that's a general question.
Which job?
Because we only deal with penalties for offenses, criminal offenses.
Okay. Someone, let's say someone collect money under false pretense.
Yes.
Right. What is the penalty for that?
Okay.
And the second one, suppose someone steal another person's social security number, and they go and they give it to an employer just to get the job, and then you find out that person did such crime. What is the penalty for that? I'll listen off the ear.
Okay, thank you very much. Detectives, you want to try obtaining money by false pretense? Anyone?
The offense.
Or the stealing social security number.
Okay, let me adjust the stealing social security number. Alright? And when we look at the crimes that we have, if someone else use somebody else's social security number, we're looking at uttering a forged document, because that social security number would say that this social security number is registered to that person who made the application to that job. So it could be one or two things. It could be that person forged that social security card number themselves, or it could be that they just utter it. So we're looking at two different offenses. I don't have the penalty with me right now, but that offense is a very serious offense, and it have a high penalty to it.
Okay, what I would like to add, Detective, you okay? Yes. Okay, good. What I would like to add, the caller did mention something general about working and and collecting money by false pretense. Now, that does not fall under the investigation of the police. If an employer choose to employ somebody and have them working, let's say you employ to run some blocks, and the person chooses not to run the blocks, and then the employer chooses to pay that person still, that has nothing to do with the police, to be quite honest. Because each business place would have their different rules and regulations and criteria and measuring in place to ensure that the employees are doing their work. Now, the crime of obtaining money by false pretense is a different offense itself. Obtaining money, obtaining property by false pretense, that's a different thing. That would fall under one of the fraudulent offenses. Take, for instance, bounce check would fall one of the part of obtaining goods by false pretense. If for some reason somebody, knowingly that they have a checkbook, but also knowing that they don't have any money and no funds on their account, and they go down to a business place and they write a check, and they obtain a television, they obtain food, they obtain whatever, and then when that businessman or woman takes that check and carries it to the bank, then we find out that no money is on the account. Now that is obtaining goods by false pretense. That's a bounce check, basically. So that is an offense. So I hope I was able to shed some little light on the question that the caller gave. Do you have any questions, Joakim? Yes, please. Yes, caller, you're on the air. Police in with you.
Yes, good morning, the good police.
Good morning, sir.
And the lady. Acting Superintendent Francis, something bothering me.
Yes.
I want to know, why is it you all as high command do not visit the barracks? No cat supposed to be in nobody's cot in the barracks. And you are going to address that because it sounds terrible in the street. You know, officers will like cat, but cat must be where cat should be, not in people, but in a barrack. Have a good day. Anybody in me and he got done with.
Well, I want to thank the caller for his call. I wouldn't make any comment about that. I don't have the caller. Well, I wouldn't make any comment about that. Let's put it that way. Yes? Yes, caller, you're on the air. Police with you.
Yeah, I live in Miami. Let me tell you all something, right? I listen to you talking a bunch of nonsense. You know? If I get a man coming out my house, he dead up here, you know? He dead.
Okay, well, that caller wasn't talking anything that is in keeping with this program. What I would like to say is that the police is not going to encourage anybody to put themselves in any harm and danger. This is the jurisdiction of the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis. Whatever laws that would be in Miami, you know, you would be governed yourself by those laws. We're governed by laws in St. Kitts. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, you're policing with you?
Good morning.
Yes, morning, sir.
Many times I go to business places and I see on the sticker, return check will be charged $100. Is this legit? Because I had a case where I went to a business place and I signed a check and the person called me because my number is on the check and tell me they didn't understand the number. If that's how I write a 2 or a 1 or what. I said, yeah, that's how I write a 2. And I said to them, well, you know, I know that it's against the law to sign checks. That bounce is against the law. And I always make sure that when I sign the check, I have money on my account to cover that check. And I insist that I wasn't paying $100 to that business place because the check was returned. Whether it returned from the bank, I do not know who. All and I was calling. And I want to know if I'm within my right, if any business can charge me $100 for a check because something on the check they didn't understand. But in the bank, I have money on my account to cover that check. I wonder if you could address that because lots of places have $100 stick up on the door for any return check. They didn't say bounce, they say return. So answer that for me, please, because I really have a problem with that. If I have money on my account, and because something is not written correctly, I'm not paying no business place, no $100 because check was returned. And in most cases, the bank can't charge them that. They're the ones who are charging you that. And that to me is a crime. Just that for me, please.
Thank you very much for that call, sir. Anyone detectives wanna?
Well, from my experience and from what I know, when you're writing a check, you're supposed to write the check eligibly so that persons can understand. Business places don't bounce check, business places don't return check. Only the bank do that. And from my experience, I know that once a check is referred to draw, then the bank would charge that person's account. I'm not sure how much money they would charge, but the bank would charge that person's account. And I guess that is why, well, basically you put that business inconvenience. You inconvenience that business because the check was returned. So basically you got the goods and the business didn't get paid their money, their due worth for their goods. So the check is returned and the business would say, well, okay, the bank charged me this amount of money, let me charge back the customer that money, because basically it was the customer's fault at that point in time. I mean, that is what I have to say in relation to that.
Detective, you want to add anything? I would add, but I don't know you.
Yeah, normally when the police get involved with those bounce checks, normally we get something from the bank, and you normally have a cost to it. Some banks, they have the different prices, but I know sometimes it's like more than like $100 and up.
Okay, what I would say to that caller, the caller basically called to seek some clarity. The clarity is that if for some reason funds are not on your account, knowingly that funds are not on your account when you wrote the check, that is an offense. If for some reason the money is on your account when you wrote the check, however, because of the lack of legibility and the check was returned, that is not a criminal offense. What happens is that business places, because most persons are not like yourself, who most checks that are bounced doesn't fall within the category that you just explained. Most of the checks bounce because no funds was on the account, which makes it an offense. And once it falls within an offense, a lot of persons don't want to go through the hassle of being arrested and things of that nature. So it's more easier for them to pay the $100 as a measure of convenience, to keep themselves out of the arms of the law. And that is an agreement separate and apart from the police. That is agreement between the person who bounced the check and the business place to pay $100 for the return check. If funds were on your account, it is the responsibility of the cashier who is taking the money, taking the check, to make sure that you write it properly. It is also that is where the cashier is supposed to look at the check, and they're supposed to ask for an ID, and they're supposed to make sure the person who is writing the check, name and whatever corresponds with the picture ID, and whatever figures written properly. Those due diligence should take place. If for some, it is very unfortunate, but if for some reason funds were on your account and the check was returned, I do not see a criminal offense taking place. I do not see a criminal offense taking place. That would be a matter for the business place and yourself to work out. But I do not see from a police standpoint a criminal offense have taken place. Thank you. Do you have any more calls? Pleasant good morning. Police in Video.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Detective Baptiste, I must commend you. But you forget to talk about payday larceny. Payday larceny all increased during the Christmas season. And as a detective, you should warn the citizens not to buy things like soil and stuff from people unless you know they're cultivating. Because they will tell you they have soil. And if they'll a bunch of you and they have a soil committee on the radio, they'll tell you they have coconut, they have no coconut trees. So we have to do some local knowledge and find out if these people really have farm also. They can come and tell the people, they could give them a bucket of we call it waffles when they're stealing the guavas. So it increases, you see. So I was looking out for that topic. Anyhow, Corporal Batty is doing a good job. Continue, but I want you to elaborate on pray the larceny during the Christmas season.
Okay, thank you, Carlo, for that call. The caller is quite right. Pray the larceny do increase. Do you care to elaborate a bit? What is pray the larceny and anything else?
Pray the larceny is basically that happens when persons would have steal things like crops, basically guavas, pears. Just recently I saw that someone picked the neighbor's pears, and the person made a report. That is pray the larceny. Sorry, look on to the caller. I recognize the voice as Miss Ex-Inspector Carol Williams. Good morning.
Mother Williams. morning.
Yes, yeah, those are things. Pray the larceny, that's things like crops, things that
Fruits, vegetables,
yes.
Different things.
That's a praise and larceny. People go around steal person's coconut and sell, and yeah.
Okay, so you want to admonish the listeners and the general public that when you're buying things from people and you know for a fact, or you having an inclination that what they are selling is not theirs. They don't have any coconut trees, they ain't planting no soil. You could manfully tell that, you know, the individuals probably stole it or got it by some illegal means and selling you, and you buying it from them, you can be charged for receiving if for some reason the police matter is reported to the police and you get caught. So person who receives stolen goods is just as guilty as the person who steal the stolen goods. Yes? Do you have any card, Julio? Okay, Pleasant, good morning. You're on the air, policing with you.
Yeah, as you say, you just make it clear about the concern in the bounce check. But if words and figures is not correct, I don't think no business place have the right to charge you $100 for that. I think the cashier, as you rightly say, is supposed to check that before they accept the check. As long as they accept the check, you're not responsible to paying them no money. And that's how I feel about that.
Thank you very much, Carlo. That Carlo is basically supporting what I just said. If for some reason the investigation is that you wrote the check, at the time of writing the check, no funds was on the account, then that is an offense. Yes, the cashiers and those persons who accept monies, it is their due diligence who's acting on behalf of the business to make sure that the checks that are written legibly. And if for some reason you give them a check and they say, no sir, your name is not spelled properly, the figures are not written properly, I would not be able to accept that check. That means you cannot go with their goods. So therefore you would have to write a better check. But if they accept the check and they know funds are on your account, that is a private matter. That is not a criminal matter for the police. So I understand what the caller is saying. Yes? Yes, you're on the air, policing with you. Good morning.
I want to thank the last caller. And I want to thank all the police because I hope that they understand that I'm saying this because recently I was called after 2 months to rectify a check. I said every time I sign a check, I always say, check the check and see if everything is alright before you accept it. This lady checked the check and said, yes, it's correct. Only to be called 2 months after. The numbers didn't add up with what I have written. And like that one day, that guy there who was so aggressive, I ain't paying no business place, no money, no $100 because you find something wrong with me check. I make sure, because I know it's against the law, to sign a check. Anyway, anytime I check bounce, police go come for you and lock you up. And police ain't gonna lock me up. So I like the last caller there. And I hope that they're listening, some of them business place listening, who are charging people for this so-called return check. And most cases, the check ain't leave the place to go to the bank. Thank you very much, sir. You made that clear for me. I know I was right all along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carlo. What we want as well, to, just as you said, you make sure that you tell the cashier, check me check properly. You know, we want to make sure that not only the cashiers are doing their job, but you don't want to fall in the wayside of persons calling you back. As you said check my check properly because I know funds are on my account and I'm writing the check. So everybody has a responsibility. The responsibility does not just fall solely on the person who is writing the check. There's also a responsibility of the cashier to do certain things. When I go and you swipe, in fact, when you're swiping your very ATM card, your debit card, your credit card, the cashier is responsible for making sure that you have a picture ID as well before they swipe your card, because somebody can take up another individual's card and use it. So we know some cashiers do not do that, so we want to encourage the business places to, especially with the upcoming Christmas season. With the upcoming Christmas season, we want to encourage the business places to make sure that they sensitize their cashiers to ask for these things when they are accepting checks and when they are accepting credit cards and things of that nature. Yeah. Any more calls? We're winding down, but we want to entertain your calls. Yes, President, good morning. You're on the air, policing with you.
Yes, Superintendent. I want you to answer where I ask you, because it ain't nice. Officers will like cat, but you got officers who wouldn't like it, and it ain't nice. Because when I was a little boy going to school, we used to visit the barracks, and just watching Chief's face alone in the office tells you how the barrack must get. You understand? And I want you all to understand, you are a long time, you know up in the rank, and these things you as a young man should pull up these young boys. When you hear the nonsense going on in the barrack, and please, Superintendent, I want you to look after the guy who don't clean the barrack, because me don't understand how big man could live so. You understand? And it's something terrible. It sounds terrible. It's certain things they don't want to come and hear it because we can't pull down with force. But what I'm saying, Mr. Francis, you all must pull up these young boys. They come from overseas, it's true. All of us is Caribbean people, but that force has standard from the British. And let me try to keep it. Have a good day, Francis.
Yes, sir. To respond to that call, what I would say is that the barracks, both in the outstations and in the Bastia barracks, I figure you're speaking about the Bastia barracks. There's a Divisional A commander, and his name is Superintendent Henry, and he does his due diligence, and he walks around, and he visits the different barrack rooms. And yes, we do have persons, civilian persons, assisting us with cleaning, and that happens because, different people need jobs, and that's an opportunity that the ministry have taken on board to have an individual coming on and assisting. So I know the superintendent does his due diligence. If there's a cat in the barrack, I'm sure the superintendent knows, and I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm not going to say there is a cat or there isn't a cat. What I'm saying, if there's a cat, there's a reason for that. Because we can look at things from a negative standpoint, and we can look at things from a positive standpoint. Because I do have a cat at home as well, and the cat is there for a reason. And I like animals. And I equally understand that some people don't like animals. So if there's an issue with a cat in the barrack or not in the barrack, that individual should take it to the divisional commander, and let's see how we can sift out that matter to see if the cat is needed or not. As to anything else, I wouldn't be in a position to elaborate any further, but all I would say is that the divisional commander and also ACP crimes and commissioners walk through the barracks all the time, and they take note of different things, and they would speak to the person who is in charge to see what is needed to be fixed or not. That is all I would like to say. Okay, that was our last caller. Now I'm going to turn to the two good detectives who took time out from their investigations to wrap up. I would allow Detective Corporal to wrap up, and then the Sergeant. Detective Corporal, that is. Okay. Any closing words? Any parting words?
Good morning. Again.
Yes.
I'm thankful for being here this morning to share basically some tips or give some information on the offenses that we deal with. I want to say a special thank you to my junior detectives.
Yes.
We are the supervisors, but we really can't do it alone. We have our detectives in our department, such as I mentioned them, not a lot. Detective Bergen, Detective Bell, Detective Gaskin, Detective Edwards, Detective Boudin, and Detective Mills. Just a few of us, but we do a lot. And thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Detective Corporal. Detective Sergeant.
Well, I too want to say thanks for being here this morning. and I appreciate being here to educate the public on what we do at CID. Also, in my closing remarks, I just want to give a few tips as it relates to your credit card.
Yes.
And for one, we got to remember that this is the holiday season, and we as the police would like you to keep your credit card safe. Store it in a safe wallet, and also don't allow website when you're doing ordering. The government have given certain concession, and a lot of persons going to be ordering stuff using their cards. Don't allow website to remember your card number, your card information. And also you have to be aware of the shopping online, the sites that you visit. Be very aware. You have to make sure that their certificates are up to date, and it's not a fictitious or malicious website. And if you ever lost your credit card, report it immediately to the bank so that the bank could put a stop on it. And also, a lot of people don't do this until maybe months after, when they go to the bank to withdraw some money. They don't review their monthly receipts, their monthly statements. You have to review your monthly statements. There's some reports where persons went to the bank months after to withdraw money and no money was there, and they were victims of card fraud. Their card was compromised and they became victims. And I will also want to encourage persons out there who are the heavy machinery. Just don't wire your money overseas.
When you say heavy machinery, what do you mean?
Like bulldozers, excavators and things like that. I'm seeing that too often persons are losing their money that way. I mean, if you see a website and on that website you saw one of those heavy machinery that you would like to purchase, I would say that nothing is wrong to take a ticket and visit that site yourself and touch the physical machine yourself, because I mean, just to spend say $2,000-3,000 to visit that site, as opposed to sending $100,000 and losing that $100,000 because you did not listen. Visit that site and you make the transaction yourself while you're there. If you have a family member or a close friend who you can trust, you could send that money to them and let them do the transaction while they're there. Because I'm seeing that a lot of people is losing their money this way, and a lot of times that money don't stay one spot, so it's very difficult for even the police to assist you, because that money jump from country to country, and it might end up in a country where we don't have any memorandum of understanding or any treaties in place for that country to share information with us. So I want person to be mindful and just be more careful with your money. Be more careful with your money. Okay. Well, that's all from me. Thank you to all the listeners out there, and we at CID, we're going to continue to perform our duties to the best of our abilities and continue to serve the public with distinction. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Detective Sergeant Hodge and Detective Corporal Batties, for taking time out to come on the program of Policing with You. I want to thank the listening public. I want to thank persons on the media platform, Facebook, and different areas listening to us. So I'm glad to have you guys here. I want to thank the Department of the Public Relations Office of the Police Force. Without them, we would not have been able to be viewing and reach to this level of Policing with You. I want to thank those individuals there. Jackie, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank others. I want to thank the Commissioner of Police and the High Command for taking time out to have this program and the ZIZ still going for years upon years now. So we want to continue as the Christmas season closes in. I want to admonish persons to be much more careful, harden your targets, look around your home. If you have to call to your nearest police station to ask the officer to come and give a security visit so they can make a look and see if your your house is properly secure, do so. We as a police force be more than welcome to come there and assist in making sure that your premises and your property, the target is hardened to prevent any break-ins or anything like that. And before I go, I know, as indicated by Detective Sergeant Hodge, that individual will be buying a lot of things this Christmas season. Flat screen, television, and different items. And as last year and the year before when I admonished the general public to know when is your garbage day and try not to put out anything. Just put it out just before your garbage day. So if you buy a nice flat screen TV, try not to just put it out there by the garbage bin, and then 2-3 days later some would-be criminal walk and they say, oh, Tom or Harry have a new television, and next thing you look, they start to look at your premises to break it, to steal that television or whatever electronic item. So no one is your garbage day. If your garbage day is on Wednesday, and put out your items on Tuesday. So the garbage can quickly come and go with the item rather than showcasing what you just bought. So that would be my only tip. Sergeant Hart gave a lot of tips, and I want to thank him. I want to thank Detective Corporal. I want to thank the management and staff of ZIZ and GQ. I want to thank you very much. Now, that's it from me. I want to tune in again next week, Thursday, for another program of Policing with You. See you when I see you.
During the 12 weeks of Christmas,